हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So in this 18th chapter, Bhagwan is summarizing his entire teaching, what he has taught in the whole of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagwan again, out of his immense compassion, summarizes the teaching. And there are these two important steps. First, we have to follow the path of Karma Yoga till we gain self-knowledge, and then pursue the path of Nididhyasana and gain abidance in our real self. This might take its own time, depending on our sadhana, depending on our past karmas. It might take one life or even more than one life, but there is no choice. We have to keep moving on this path with enthusiasm, with total trust and faith, till we attain our final goal. So in these 5 verses, Bhagwan summarizes the path of Nididhyasana. So after making our mind, that is buddhi, absolutely pure, and gaining that firm conviction that I am Brahma, this Atma, this Pratyekatma, this innermost self, the Sushupta Atma, or the Kshetrajna, the Jiva, this I am Brahma. Brahma is all pervading. Brahma is the self of all. Brahma is the very cause of this entire world. The world is not different from Brahma. Nothing is different from Brahma. That Brahma I am. So with constant practice of this Nididhyasana, one gains abidance in our own self as Brahma. That paradigm shift happens. We jump from the image to our actual self. So that is what Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, he says, that when we are able to gain this paradigm shift, gain that abidance in our real self, that itself is moksha. He writes, Shankaracharya ji writes, कि प्रत्येक आत्मा अविक्रिय स्वरूप निष्ठत्वाच्च मोक्षस्य. This pratyek atma, this innermost self, why it is called inner self? Because we have seen that we experience the sense of I in the body also, which is the outermost layer. Then we experience the sense of I in our senses, in our mind, in our buddhi, and in the aham vritti also. But even inner than that aham vritti is our self, the real self. Therefore it is called pratyek atma. Pratyek means inner. So when we gain abidance in our that inner self, when we come to recognize that innermost self as that Brahma, that itself is called moksha. And the practice of gaining this abidance itself is called jnana nishtha. So pratyek atma vishaya pratyaya santana karana abhiniveshaha cha jnana nishtha. So constantly ruminating, constantly meditating on ourself and gaining that shift, sitting as we are. And this happens through sannyas, by giving up all the false notions. So tasmat sarva karma sannyasena eva jnana nishtha karya iti siddham. So through sannyas means through renunciation, one gains this abidance in our own self. Like in that mantra also it is said, कि न कर्मणा न प्रजया धने न त्यागे नैके अमृतत्वमानशुः. that the final moksha is attained not by karma, not by what you call having lot of children, not by wealth, but ultimately through tyaga, by renunciation. Hmm? So Bhagavan has in these verses and the previous verses concluded his teaching. But as I said, Bhagavan is very compassionate and he wants Arjuna to retain the main teaching in his mind, because we have seen that this Bhagavad Gita, there are these 700 verses, and we have been listening to this for the past almost a year, and to retain so many things we have heard, so to remember all of them is not very easy, so we tend to forget. So Bhagavan again reminds Arjuna the essence of it. And the most beautiful thing now Bhagavan will tell, what he had said about this twofold path of Karma Yoga and Jnana Nishtha. These are the twofold path mentioned in the Vedas. But what about Bhakti? See, Bhakti is a attitude which is required for Karma Yoga also and for Jnana Nishtha also. Bhakti is love for that Ishvara. So whether we are following the path of Karma Yoga, we require that love, and when we are following the path of Jnana Nishtha, we require that love. So that is Bhakti. So here Bhagavan now in the following verses talk in the language of Bhakti. What he has said before, same thing he conveys in the beautiful language of Bhakti. Shankaracharya ji, he writes in his commentary, he says कि स्वकर्मणा भगवतः अभ्यर्चना भक्ति योगस्य सिद्धि प्राप्ति ही फलम ज्ञान निष्ठा योग्यता. That when we dedicate our actions, our kartavya karma to Ishvara, to Bhagwan, when we with love, when we dedicate all our actions to Ishvara, that itself is called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is Karma Yoga only, where the focus is on that dedication. See, we have seen that Karma Yoga is also an attitude, a buddhi. So first is we require Kartavya Buddhi, that we should be performing our Kartavya Karma, which Bhagavan elaborately discussed, that how we have this 4 Varnas and the 4 Ashramas, and based on that we have our Kartavya Karma, because they are based on our gunas which we carry from our past. Our samskars of the past expresses as the gunas and as the varna in this life. So based on our varnashrama dharma, we have to perform our karma. So kartavya buddhi, and those karmas should be performed without any attachment to the karma as well as karma phala, with a total detached attitude. That's called asanga buddhi. Then we should also remain equanimous while performing karma. Lots of ups and downs come when we are doing our karma. Sometimes good situation, bad situation, difficult situation, but we should go on and on, keeping the mind totally balanced. That's called samatva buddhi. Then the most important, that whatever these karmas which we are doing, they should be dedicated to Ishvara. So Ishvara samarpana buddhi. And then whatever result we get that should be accepted as prasad of Bhagwan. So prasad buddhi. So these 5 points we have seen: कर्तव्य बुद्धि, असंग बुद्धि, समत्व बुद्धि, ईश्वर अर्पण बुद्धि, प्रसाद बुद्धि. In karma, when we have, then that is karma yoga. So what is bhakti? Actually, as we dedicate our actions to Bhagwan, and more when we develop this attitude, we develop that love for that Bhagwan. And then that whole focus is on that samarpan. That whatever actions I am doing, my whole idea is to offer them to Ishvara. Kayena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakrute svabhavat karomi yad sakalam parasmai narayana iti samarpayami. That samarpan buddhi, when we have more and more, that is the beauty of bhakti only. That karma yoga itself becomes transformed into bhakti. In the 9th chapter also Bhagwan had mentioned ki yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. That whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever yajna you do, whatever dana you give, whatever tapas you do, hey Arjuna, dedicate all of them to me. And if you do this, you will become free of all your bondage. Again, in the 10th chapter also we had seen, Bhagwan said, कि मच्चित्ता मद्गत प्राणाः बोधयन्तः परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. That my devotees, they constantly think about me, they dedicate their life to me, they talk about me, they discuss about me, and they totally revel in me. So such dedicated devotees, Bhagwan says, I give them knowledge. Just as the Karma Yoga culminates in self-knowledge, this Karma Yoga, which is Bhakti, automatically takes us towards self-knowledge. Bhagwan says, I give them knowledge. Means that Jidnyasa comes and Bhagwan makes us go to our teacher. Bhagwan makes arrangement for us to gain knowledge. When we dedicate our life to Ishvara, Ishvara's grace, Ishvara's kripa, his kripa is that he sees that I gain this knowledge. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayamyatma bhavastaha jnana deepena bhasvata. Bhagwan says, I only illumine that knowledge in their antakarana. By my blessings only, my devotees come to understand me. So we don't have to worry that, oh, where will I get a teacher? Who will teach me? What will happen? When I dedicate all my karmas to Ishvara with that love, he makes all the arrangement for me. He makes all the necessary arrangement. Otherwise, without any external support, he will make that knowledge shine in our antakarana. That is Bhagwan's beauty. So, what was said as a path of karma yoga, upasana, jnana prapti, karma sannyas, then jnana nishtha, so many words. Bhagwan makes it short. He says you remember only 2 words. What are the 2 words? That follow the path of bhakti, bhakti yoga and sharanagati. Bhakti and sharanagati. what was said in so many words is shortened by using only two words, bhakti and sharanagati. So that is what Bhagwan now tells in the following verses. Most beautiful. So let us chant. Verse number 56. Sarvakarmanyapि sada kurvano madvyapashrayah matprasadadavapnoti shashvatam padam avyayam. Shankaracharya ji writes कि यन निमित्ता ज्ञान निष्ठा मोक्ष फला अवसाना स भगवत भक्ति योग अधुना स्तूयते शास्त्रार्थ उपसंहार प्रकरणे शास्त्रार्थ निश्चय दार्ढ्याय. So what Bhagwan had said before, to make it more firm in our mind, the teaching, Bhagwan reveals it again, the path of this bhakti yoga, which culminates in jnanam, and then path of sharanagati, which culminates in jnana nishtha. So if we cannot remember so many words, what is taught in Bhagavad Gita, you only remember two, bhakti and sharanagati. And later on Bhagwan will tell us that even if you have difficulty in remembering two, you only remember one, sharanagati. But now he is talking about bhakti and sharanagati. He says कि सर्व कर्माण्यपि सदा कुर्वाणः मद व्यपाश्रयः मत प्रसादादवाप्नोति शाश्वतम पदम अव्ययम. Bhagwan says कि सर्व कर्माणि, that bhakti doesn't mean that we have to become lazy or something. We have to live our life for Ishvara. Bhagwan के लिए करो. See, our journey begins from a very low level. What is that low level? Selfishness. We live for ourselves. Khao, piyo, mauj karo, only think of yourself. Don't bother about what is right, what is wrong. That is where one is there in a very, very elementary stage of evolution. To such a person, the Shastras say, okay, follow the path of dharma. Don't be so selfish. Follow the path of dharma and see that while enjoying and living in this world, you don't harm others. And one who does evolved, the Shastra says you dedicate your karmas to Ishvara. Bhagwan ke liye karo, Jagat ke liye karo. You do something for Ishvara, dedicate everything to Ishvara. So when we keep dedicating to Ishvara, we develop that love for Ishvara. And dedicating all our actions and our life for Ishvara becomes a natural expression of our love. Sarva Karmani, here Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji writes, कि Sarva Karmani means not only all our duties, but sometimes out of ignorance or out of some advertence, one may do something wrong also. One may do something which is not proper. So even if some mistake happens, or some shortcomings are there in our karma, or we have not recognized exactly what is our swadharma, we do something which is not proper, whatever it is, Shankaracharya ji says you dedicate all things to Ishvara only. भगवान को समर्पित करो, सब अच्छा हो जाएगा. everything. Because that samarpan will make it shuddha. That dedication to Ishvara will make your life pure and all your actions pure. See, it's like Gangaji. Gangaji is so pure that even by mistake we pour some dirty water in Gangaji, that water also becomes pure. Gangaji doesn't become dirty. Doesn't become impure. Doesn't become apavitra. Ganga may become polluted because of all our pollutants. But Ganga never becomes apavitra. Ganga will always bless. Similarly, when we dedicate all our actions, we should dedicate good actions, but by mistake, even if some bad actions we commit, then dedicate them also to Ishvara and he will bless you. Ishvara will never get polluted. Ishvara will always bless us. So, sarva karmani api pratishiddhani api sada kurvana anutishtan. Always, not that we do it only in the morning or in the evening or only on Ekadashi or only on some special festival we dedicate all things to Ishvara. No, sada, 24 hours, 24/7, always. It is not a part-time job. Love for Ishvara is not part-time, that only on special occasions I will love Bhagwan. Otherwise I will love myself only. Not like that. Then that is not proper love. Even 99% love is not proper. It should be 100%. So, sarva karmani sada kurvanaha mad vapashrayah, remaining totally dedicated to Ishvara, taking only support of Ishvara, ashraya. What is ashraya? Ki aham vasudeva Ishvaro vapashrayah yasya sa mad vapashrayah mayyarpita sarvatma bhava ityartha. Dedicating ourselves to Ishvara, considering him alone as our support. That is called mad vapashrayah. And if we live in this way, this is called bhakti yoga. This is karma yoga only. But when the expression of love becomes more, then that karma yoga itself is called bhakti. Bhakti में, karma yoga में, bhakti में अंतर नहीं है. But in bhakti yoga, the expression of love is more. So when we live our life in this way, what will happen? We will get the Ashirvad of Bhagwan. We will get prasad from Bhagwan. See, हम पूजा करते हैं, हमें प्रसाद प्राप्त होता है. We go to the temple, the Purohit gives us prasad. When we follow this path of Bhakti Yoga, Bhagwan himself will give us prasad. What is that prasad? That chitta shuddhi and that inner joy. And self-knowledge. By Bhagwan's grace, we will understand. We will comprehend our own self. That love will make us understand our own nature. We will get tuned to Ishvara. So, mat prasadat avapnoti, by Bhagwan's then kripa only, the bhakti yogi, this sadhak, will gain what? Shashvatam padam avyayam, that eternal state, that eternal abode, that moksha. Moksha will be attained by Bhagwan's grace. So by bhakti, that is that intense, supreme love for Ishvara, by His grace we will attain moksha. But that bhakti is not even, that attention is not even on moksha. The attention is on expressing and loving Bhagwan to the fullest capacity. See, here many people get confused, because when we listen to Vedanta and when we keep hearing that everything is one, that Ishvara and this I am one only, that Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, that I am Brahma. So how is Ishvara different from us? So Ishvara is myself only. So how can we dedicate? What is the meaning of dedicating our actions to Ishvara? What is the meaning of loving Ishvara? See, here we have to understand. Just as, let us say, my father is there. So my body is different and my father's body is different. Though I got this body from my parents, but now this body is different, my father's body is different, my mind is different, my father's mind is different, my buddhi is different, his buddhi is different, my samskars are different, his samskars are different. But the kshetrajna in me and the kshetrajna in him is same, not similar, same. But with respect to the body, mind, there is difference. So when we interact with our father, we interact knowing this difference. So with proper respect, proper reverence, we interact, we offer our services, we ask for blessings. Because I am different, father is different with respect to my body from the standpoint of upadhis. So I with my upadhis is different from my father with his upadhis. But when we look at the Swarupa, my Swarup and my father's Swarup is one only. But when there is Vyavahar, when there is give and take, then I do it with the Upadhis. In the same way, Ishvara is having that Samashti Upadhi. So with respect to Upadhi, I am different, Ishvara is different. My Upadhis are limited. My body is small. My mind is small. My buddhi is small. My powers are small. But because of the Samashti Upadhi, means because Ishvara has got this Samashti Mana, Samashti Buddhi, Samashti Sharir, Ishvara's Shakti is infinite, is Sarva Shaktiman, Sarvajna, Sarvantaryami. So with Upadhis, when I look at myself with Upadhi, that is my Rupa. And that Kshetrajna is my Swarupa. Similarly, Ishvara with his Upadhis is his Rupa. But without that Upadhi, that Brahma is the Swarupa. So Ishvara is Brahma only, and I am also Brahma. But when I do my sadhana, I am still bound to the Upadhis. So with respect to the Upadhis, I have this Rupa, and I should dedicate all my actions and love to Ishvara. And if I continue on this path, by his blessings I gain knowledge and then come to understand that my Swarup and Ishvara Swarup is one. The culmination is I come to recognize that I and Ishvara are one. Soham, Soham, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham. कि हम दोनों एक ही है. So this is the beauty of this bhakti karma yoga, that though it appears to be talking in the language of Dvaita, but really ultimately it is Advaita only. Bhagwan alone is our father, our mother, our grandfather, and Bhagwan is our Swarup also. So when we look at the Rupa, it appears to be different. Like when we look at the gold ornaments, all ornaments appear different. Why they are appearing different? Because we are looking at the Rupa. But when we look at the Swarupa, all are one. So in the stage of our sadhana, we are bound to our Rupa. So we worship that Ishvara with Rupa. And when we progress by Ishvara's blessings only, we come to understand our Swarupa and become one with Ishvara's Swarupa. So our sadhana is a journey from Rupa to Swarupa. From ornaments to gold. From waves to water. From pot to clay. So sarva karmani api sada kurvanaha mad vyapashrayaha mad prasadad avapnoti shashvatam padam avyayam. Ishvara is not somewhere up in the sky, not in the heaven. Ishvara is present in front of us in the form of this world. Just as I can touch my father, I can do namaskar to my father, similarly I can touch Ishvara, I can smell Ishvara, I can taste Ishvara, because he is present in front of us as this world. So that is Bhagwan's Rupa. That is the Saguna, Ishvara. And when we dedicate ourselves totally 100% to Ishvara, His grace, His blessings, His kripa will be upon us, and we will just glide into that supreme state of realization by His kripa. So sarva karmani api sada. See, we are interested in moksha, means eternal bliss. And very interestingly, Ishvara is interested to give us moksha. Ishvara is not interested to keep us stuck in this samsara. Ishvara wants to give us moksha. But Ishvara wants us to have that desire in our mind. Ishvara doesn't want to force that moksha on us. He says, you ask and I will give you moksha right now. That asking, that desiring takes time. Asking for that moksha from our side takes time. Because we are hesitant, we are ignorant, we have our habits, we have our negative samskars, we have other agenda, we have some funny ideas. But when we ask, we get it. Like Tulsidas ji has written, Ramayana, कि नान्यस्पृहा रघुपते हृदये स्मदीये सत्यं वदामि च भवान् अखिलान्तरात्मा भक्तिं प्रयच्छ रघुपुंगव निर्भरां मे कामादिदोषरहितं कुरु मानसं च कि I don't have any other desire, Bhagwan. You give me your bhakti. Give me that supreme love for you. So what is this bhakti? Again Bhagwan explains it in the next verse, verse number 57. चेतसा सर्वकर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः बुद्धियोगमुपाश्रित्य मच्चित्तः सततं भव. Bhagwan says, Chetasa sarvakarmani mayi sanyasya. That with your mind, with your buddhi, dedicate all your actions to me. Viveka buddhya. Sarva karmani, drishta, drishtarthani, all karmas, worldly as well as otherworldly. All that you do, you dedicate to me. Means live your life for me. मेरे लिए जियो, मेरे लिए करो. Means drop all your selfishness, drop all other agenda from your life. See, if you really want to understand, we should read the Charitra of Bhakta. This is not some vague, some impossible thing. If we read the Charitra of the great devotees, we will find that their life was like that. Even in Ramayana we see so many different devotees of Bhagwan. Even his own brother, Bharatji, he had so fascinating love for Bhagwan. He had gone to his mother's that home when Bhagwan left for the forest along with Lakshmana and Sita ji. That when Bharatji came, he was so shattered. He just could not bear the thought that Bhagwan has gone to the forest. And people said, you become the king. He said, what king? I don't want to become anything. I just want to be with Bhagwan. I want him to come back. I don't want to be the king. So he went to the forest to request Bhagwan to come back to Ayodhya. Bhagwan says, no, I have come here by listening to my father's words, so it is my duty. So I will remain in the forest for 14 years. But you take care of the kingdom, you rule the kingdom. He says, no, I can't rule the kingdom. He says, please give me your padukas and you alone will rule the kingdom. I will remain as your sevak. So for 14 years, Bharatji ruled the kingdom as a trustee, as a sevak. But he lived a life of a hermit. Just as Bhagwan was living in the forest, Bharatji was living in that kingdom, away from all people. He had dug a pit in the ground and he was living below there. But he took care of the kingdom, dedicated everything to Ishvara. He said, Bhagwan is walking on the ground barefoot, I will stay below the ground. So we hear about the great devotees, and that love itself, it is not something that they are miserable and he was so unhappy. No. That love is associated with intense peace and joy. There was no greater joy than to dedicate one's life to Ishvara. Look at Hanumanji. What can we call him? A karma yogi, or a bhakta, or a jnani? He was all three put together. He was the greatest karma yogi. But that karma yoga had got transformed into supreme bhakti. So he was the greatest bhakta. But bhakta doesn't mean he was totally devoid of knowledge. It's called Jnaninam Agraganyam. By Bhagwan's blessings, he had all the knowledge also. Other great saints, Mirabai, Tulsidas ji, Surdas ji, Kabir Das ji, so many saints in our country, every place actually. Maharashtra, so many saints. Other places also. That is the sar of the teaching of our Shastras, that you become Bhagwan's devotee. That takes the essence of everything. The whole essence of all the teaching is when you become a bhakta of Bhagwan. So, a bhakta of Bhagwan has got karma yoga also, has upasana, has all dharma, has all good, what you call chitta shuddhi, has got knowledge by Bhagwan's blessings, and gains that moksha. Sant Tukaram Maharaj of Maharashtra, there is a story that even while living, as the Vimana came from heaven from that Vaikunta to take Sant Tukaram Maharaj to that Bhagwan's abode. Such story is there. He had dedicated his whole life to Ishvara, constantly chanting his name, thinking about him. That is what is required. So, Chetasa Sarva Karmani, and Bhagwan is a fact. Bhagwan is not some person living in some heaven or somewhere, or some idea, concept. Many people, they out of their foolishness, sometimes they discuss what is your concept of God and what is your idea of God and what is your theory about God. Bhagwan is fact. Just as this world you can see, touch, taste, us, that is Bhagwan's roop only. See, those who believe that Bhagwan is not the Upadan Karan, they think Bhagwan lives in heaven. That if we die, we can go to him, or if he is angry, he will send us to eternal hell. But those are just beliefs which have got no basis. Our Shastra says Ishvara is the Nimitta Upadan Karan. He is present in this world as the world. So through Upadhis, Bhagwan appears like this world. When we dedicate ourselves to Ishvara and become one with him, the whole world gets absorbed in us. When we look from the standpoint of the ornaments, there are many ornaments. But when we become gold and we try to look around, there are no ornaments. There is only gold. Shastras also say that Atmeva bhut vijanatah. When we gain abidance in our own self, then there is nothing other than the self. Then who will see what? There is no duality, there is no seeing, hearing, tasting, touching. Everything is one. So chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya, dedicating all your karmas to me, mat paraha, considering me as supreme, considering Ishvara as the supreme. So Ishvara's Swarup is Brahma, and his Rupa, along with his Upadhi, his Shakti called Maya, that Brahma itself is called Ishvara. And when he expresses his Shakti, that Ishvara alone is called Hiranyagarbha and Vaishvanara. That Vaishvanara itself is Bhagwan's Vishvarupa. In the 11th chapter, Bhagwan showed that Vishvarupa to Arjuna. That is his Vaishvanara Rupa. Ishvara's Rupa. Hiranyagarbha is also his Rupa. Ishvara is also his Rupa along with his Shakti, Maya. And that Brahma is the Swarupa. Just the language is different. Swarupa and Swarupa are same. When we talk with respect to Upadhis, we talk about the Rupa. When all the Upadhis get absorbed, then there is only that Swarupa. So Chetasa Sarva Karmani Mai Sanyasya Mat Paraha, dedicating oneself totally to Ishvara, Buddhi Yoga Mupashritya, taking refuge in Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga is Mai Samahita Buddhitvam, shifting or placing our Buddhi in Ishvara. Means all our Nishchay, all our thoughts, our understanding, everything placed in Ishvara. Buddhi Yoga means understand myself as that Ishvara, as Brahma, and gain that abidance in that Brahma. As I had mentioned before, look at your image in the mirror and shift your attention from that image to yourself. So, with the Buddhi, dedicate yourself to Ishvara. It's like Sharanagati. So, mat chitta satatam bhava, constantly be mat chitta, have that thought of Ishvara alone. So, Buddhi Yoga Upashriti Ashraya Ananya Sharanatvam. So, having that Ananya Sharanagati towards Ishvara, Mai eva chittam yasya tava satvam mat chittaha satatam sarvada bhava. All the time thinking about Ishvara. See, when we are sleeping, we surrender to our sleep. Actually, we surrender means that Buddhi goes to sleep. See, the Atma never sleeps. Buddhi, when it is awake, we call it waking state. When the Buddhi is dreaming, we call it dream. When the Buddhi goes to sleep, we call it Sushupti Avastha. But Atma never sleeps. But because of our identification with the Buddhi, when it is awake, we say, I am awake. When it is dreaming, we say, I am dreaming. When it goes to sleep, we say, I slept. So we are holding on to that Buddhi. तो बुद्धि को छोड़ के अपने स्वरूप में समा, what you call, शरण में चले जाओ, स्वरूप के शरण में चले जाओ. Surrender to your own Swarupa. Surrender to that Ishvara within and Ishvara around. So Ananya Sharanyatvam, Ananya Sharanatvam. So this is Bhakti Yoga. And with this Bhakti Yoga, by Bhagwan's blessings, we will cross over this samsara. That's what Bhagwan says in the next verse. Macchitta sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishyasi atha chetvam ahankaran na shroshyasi vinakshasi. Bhagwan says, Macchittaha sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishyasi. That when your thoughts are all the time in me, when you have dedicated your life to me, when you have dedicated all your actions to me, when you are totally surrendered to me, Bhagwan says, by my kripa, by my prasad, by my blessings, you will cross over all obstacles and attain me. Sarva Durgani. Sarva Durgani means all obstacles. Means this samsara. Sarvani dustarani samsara hetu jatani. All these obstacles which create the sorrow, pain and this samsara, one will be able to cross over them. Atikramishasi. So this is the path of Bhakti and Sharanagati. What was said in so many verses and so many shlokas as the path of Karma Yoga and Upasana and Jnana Prapti and Karma Sannyas and what you call Niridhyasan and Moksha, Bhagwan दो शब्दों में बताते हैं, Bhakti and Sharanagati. Through that you will attain your goal. But 100% Bhakti and 100% Sharanagati. With Bhakti you will gain knowledge, you will gain that proper understanding, and the Sharanagati will become easier. जितना भगवान से प्रेम होगा उतने भगवान के शरण में चले जाओगे. And Bhagwan is our own Swarupa only. And He has greatest compassion for us. There is no other well-wisher to us than Ishvara. No greater well-wisher than Ishvara. So, mat chitta sarva durgani mat prasada tarishyasi. Okay? So you think about it and become a Bhagwan's devotee. After listening to these pravachans for so many days, this is the Sara. Bhagwan के भक्त बन जाओ और भगवान के शरण में चले जाओ. Okay? More about this we will see in our next class. It was interesting. Bhagwan is concluding, but one interesting in between thing which Bhagwan will tell, very important, and then again he will give a concluding verse, a famous verse, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Ahantva Sarva Papebhya Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchah. All those verses we will see in our next class. So tomorrow is Saturday, we won't have a class. Day after tomorrow is Sunday, we won't have a class. After that is Monday, and Monday is Holi. Holi hai, Holi. So we will have a chutti on Holi also, because Holi is a holy day. So next class we will have on Tuesday. Okay? But You just take care. Don't go out and start jumping, dancing here and there. Follow all the precautions. Be safe, be healthy, and we shall meet again on Tuesday. Okay? Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. Bole Siyavar Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om. And happy Holi to all of you. Hari Om.